I love doing multi-use crafts that are beautiful and they have a purpose. So today we're making this really cool, it could be an air plant holder or it could be a lantern. You could hang it in your backyard or you could hang it in your front window. So if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button and let's dive in. The materials you're going to need today are 12 gauge copper wire, probably 16 gauge copper wire as well. Then either optional is an air plant. One of these, this one is glass. I have found also you can get plastic ones if you're sticking them outside. It's an air plant holder and it usually holds like that, an air plant. And then we're going to use some string lights, battery operated string lights, and you need something to hide the battery. So these have rocks in the bottom. You can put some marbles in just to hide the battery pack, and then some beads or whatever you want to create the chain. Okay, I have cut these 12 gauge copper wires. I've got 4 of them so far, and I've cut them into 12 inches, which is 31 centimeters. So we are just creating the chain that goes on here. Let's get started.
Start by cutting 4 12-inch pieces of 12 gauge copper wire. Take your first piece and create a spiral on one end using your round nose pliers. Make it as large or as tight as you'd like. Once you're happy with the spiral, move to the center section of the wire and create a few soft zigzag bends or gentle waves. This gives the piece movement and personality. Now finish by creating a second spiral on the opposite end. The order is simple: spiral, zigzag, spiral. Repeat this process for all 4 pieces. You can make all 4 links exactly the same for a clean, symmetrical look, or you can create 4 completely different designs with different size spirals and unique bends. There is no right or wrong approach here. Some of the most interesting pieces come from mixing things up and letting each link develop its own personality. Either way, you'll end up with a one-of-a-kind chain that is uniquely yours, and that's part of the fun of handmade wire art. Once all 4 links are shaped, place them on a steel block and lightly hammer them. Hammering hardens the copper, helps the spirals hold their shape, and gives the wire a beautiful finished look. A tip here: use light taps and work your way around the design rather than hitting one spot too hard. Next, grab your 16 gauge wire and your beads and use them to connect the spiral links together. Add a bead between each section to create visual interest and a little sparkle. Form a small loop, add your bead, connect it to a spiral, then create another loop to attach the next section. Continue connecting. As you go, check that all your loops are fully closed. A quick tug test now can save a repair later. One of my favorite things about this project is that no 2 chains ever look exactly the same. You can start with the same wire, the same tools, and the same instructions, yet every maker creates something uniquely their own. If one spiral ends up a little larger than the others, leave it. If one zigzag has a bit more character, keep it. Those tiny differences are what make handmade crafts feel alive. Once all 4 links are connected, hold the chain up and let it hang naturally. Make any final adjustments to the spirals and curves until everything flows nicely. And just like that, you've transformed 4 simple pieces of copper wire into an elegant decorative chain that's full of movement, sparkle, and personality.
Okay, and now that we have the chain ready to go, let's just put it all together. Of course, if you're working with glass, just be very careful not to break the glass. So make the loop big enough. This is a 16 gauge wire, and when I'm squeezing it together, I'm being very careful. There. Okay, it is now squeezed together. Oh, it's looking so pretty. Oh, I gotta move that around. Oh, that's looking so good so far. Okay, for this step, you could use marbles. I found some little river rocks that we're going to put in the base here. We don't want it being too heavy, but this battery pack is pretty big, so we have to hide it somehow. And you want the battery pack to have the on and off switch at the front here. And then we're going to put some river rocks in. like that. And then on top, we're going to add some little white pebbles. There we go. The little white pebbles worked rather well to hide the battery pack, which is fantastic. Then next, we're just putting in the lights, and you can just randomly throw them in there. There we go. Stuffing them in there. And I think I need to use a smaller air plant. Don't you love when your craft goes a little wonky? One of these little white pebbles got in between the battery pack to turn it on. So now I can't turn it on. So I'm just going to, because it is stuck there, so I actually have to remove this, go like this. There. All right, now they're on. And now I will have to bury this again. So let's take it all out. I'm just going to throw the white stones, all the stones in here. Put the battery pack in, making sure that the button, the on button, is right here. Okay, adding in all the stones. There we go. Taking a moment to make sure the battery pack is hidden pretty much again. Put more stones in, stuffing my lights back in, and you could just have it as a light, as a lantern, and that would be beautiful. But I really wanted to do also an air plant holder. Oh yes. Okay, and that looks fabulous. I love it as an air plant holder. What do you think? Would you use it as an air plant holder or just a lantern or both? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.